Good morning, Year 3, and welcome to Week 3. We are going to be doing another comprehension paper. I'm going to once again, for set A, read through the text with you, then we're going to go through the answers. So our new text today is called Hide and Seek. So as I said, I'm going to read through the text first, then we are going to go through how to get the full marks for each answer within the questions. So here we go. This is Hide and Seek. Calling a cheerful goodbye to her family, Ola sprinted off down the path leading from her house towards the park. She leapt over the railings, ducked down the shortcut, and found herself on the edge of the playing field in less than 2 minutes. Secretly pleased to be the first one there, Ola relaxed against the nearest tree and waited for her friends to arrive. They didn't take long. First Lucy, then Gabe and Hassan, finally Amelia. Amelia, thought Ola. Who invited her? Well, never mind. It was a lovely afternoon. Maybe she would be nicer today. Chesht, Ola said out loud. Lucy, Gabe and Hassan greeted her back, grinning round at one another at the freedom on a Saturday afternoon together under a clear blue sky. Ches, spat Amelia, tossing her head. You're in England. Speak English. Oh, sorry, mumbled Ola. I mean, hi everyone. Gabe gave Amelia a special stony look, but she took no notice. Then he smiled at Ola. Ches, he grinned. So, guys, my dad's walking our dog round the park for about an hour or so. He says we can go wherever we like as long as we don't leave the trees, playing field or hedge maze, because he says he'll hear us if we shout out. Are you all ready for hide and seek? They certainly were, Ola most of all. Hassan was the counter, so the rest tore off in search of places to conceal themselves. Ola dashed through the trees, crouched behind a majestic oak tree for 10 seconds, then doubled back towards the hedge maze. She knew that Hassan hated the maze, so he wouldn't be searching there first. Ola, however, knew every twist and turn of that trail like the back of her hand. Besides, she had been itching to use this new hiding place for ages. She was not disappointed. 10 minutes later, Ola was still balancing on a sturdy branch inside the hollow gap in the hedge, undiscovered. She had heard Lucy squeal and Hassan shout out, "Found you!" Then Gabe's little dog had barked his recognisable yap, so he probably located Gabe. Then everything was quiet. Ola was just starting to relax into the hedge when she heard a twig snap. Sitting up straight, she forced her lungs to breathe slower and quieter. If only she could slow her heart down too. It thumped in her chest like a giant's iron hammer, ready to burst out at any second. A moment later, cautious footsteps crept just the other side of the hedge. Ola held her breath and, for some reason, scrunched her eyelids shut. Silence. Then, a squeal. What was that? It sounded more like a wounded werewolf than Hassan. Ola gulped but remained perfectly still, eyes closed. Another whimper, then another. Ola realised she was shaking. The whine came again. Although she knew that this would either reveal her awesome hiding place or end up with her getting eaten. Ola stretched up and peered over the hedge. There, sprawled on the trail, clutching her ankle, lay Amelia, crying. Ola didn't know that Amelia could cry. She didn't say that, though. Instead, she smiled kindly and called out, "I'm coming, Amelia, don't worry." Amelia pulled her face and rolled around in pain. Then she cleared her throat and smiled back. "Ches," she whispered. And there we go. That's the whole text. So now we're going to go through the answers and just double check how to get full marks on all of them. So here we go. Question number 1. This is the vocabulary section. Which word below is similar in meaning to the word cheerful? Tick 1. Which word below is similar in meaning to the word cheerful? So hopefully if we just read all these, we've got jolly, tearful, cheesy and cheering. Well, I'd like to think we know quite well what cheerful means. Definitely not tearful, not cheesy. Cheering is a different word altogether. That's like if we're cheering someone on. So the only one it can be is jolly. That's the only one it can be. Okay, question 2. Look at the second paragraph. Find and copy a group of words that show Amelia was not very happy with Ola's greeting. So look at the second paragraph. Find and copy a group of words that show Amelia was not very happy with Ola's greeting. So that's exactly where I'm going to look. I'm going to look at the second paragraph. I need to find and copy a group of words that shows me Amelia was not very happy with Ola's greeting. Well, I can remember this already, but I'm going to quickly skim through, just see if I can actually find the evidence in the text, because that's what it wants me to do. There it is. Ches spat Amelia, tossing her head. You're in England, speak English. That's it. Okay, so it's literally because she spat it at her. That's obviously, she didn't literally spit, by the way. It's just in that sort of way. So there you go. It's that group of words, isn't it? Exactly, that is what I would take from the text, and I'd write it down exactly as it is with all the punctuation as well. So, Ches spat Amelia, tossing her head. You're in England, speak English. That is your full answer for question 2. Question 3. Look at the section beginning, they certainly were. In search of places to conceal themselves. What does the word conceal mean in this sentence? So look at the section beginning, they certainly were, so we can find that in the text and find that bit where it says, in search of places to conceal themselves. What does the word conceal mean in this sentence? This is one of those ones where you need to kind of think about it if you don't know what the word conceal means, but basically the word means to hide, okay? To conceal yourself means to hide, okay? So that's what all I've written down is the word hide, because that's all I need. So conceal means hide in that sentence. All right, question 4. In the retrieval section, what was Gabe's dad doing while the children played at the park? What was Gabe's dad doing while the children played in the park? So the first thing I'd be looking for is dad, or maybe Gabe's dad. I'm going to skim through the text. I'm going to find that. Dad or Gabe's dad. Oh, I see it's in the second paragraph. It's on the line that says, Ches, he grinned. There it is. So it says here, so guys, my dad's walking our dog around the park for about an hour or so. So there we go. What was dad doing whilst they were playing in the park? Dad was walking the dog. Okay, so literally I've written walking the dog because it says there that's what they were doing. My dad's walking our dog around the park. You could have put walking the dog around the park. That would have also got you the mark as well. But walking the dog is the main point that you need to score the mark. Right, question 5. Where was Ola's hiding place? Where was Ola's hiding place? So again, I'm going to think about the question. I'm going to think about the keywords I'm going to search for. Where was Ola's hiding place? I'm going to be looking for hiding place. Hiding place is what I'm going to look for. Something about a hiding place. That's going to tell me where it is. And I've just seen it. It is right at the end of the second paragraph. It says here, besides, she had been itching to use this new hiding place for ages. So does that tell me where the hiding place is yet? No, it doesn't. It doesn't tell me that yet. I just need to have a look. Does it say anything before? Ola, however, knew that every twist of turn that trailed back in the back of her hand. No, that doesn't tell me where it is. Let's read the bit underneath it. Let's start the next paragraph and see if it's in there. She was not disappointed. 10 minutes later, Ola was still balancing on the sturdy branch inside the hollow gap in the hedge undiscovered. There we go. It's now told me where it is. Okay, so we already know she's in a maze, okay, but that specifically is where the hiding place is, isn't it? Okay, so where was the hiding place? Here's what I wrote down. I wrote down on a branch in the hedge within the maze. That's going to get me the answer, okay? Anything that tells me she's on a branch, okay, or in the hedge, that's the hiding place, isn't it? Right, question 6. Look at the paragraph beginning. Ola was just starting to relax. What did the strange noise sound more like? So look at the paragraph beginning. Ola was just starting to relax. What did the strange noise sound more like? So look at the paragraph beginning. Ola was starting to relax. So I'm going to find that in the text. Ola was just starting to relax. There it is right at the beginning of the paragraph. Ola was just starting to relax into the hedge. So the question says, what did the strange noise sound more like? So I'm looking for something to do with a strange noise, or what was the strange noise, and what did it sound more like? So I'm going to skim through here. Something about a noise. Then a squeal, that's got to be the strange noise. A squeal, that's a strange noise. Let's read that sentence. Then a squeal. What was that? It sounded more like a wounded werewolf than Hassan. There we go, that's the answer. Then a squeal, what was that? It sounded more like a wounded werewolf than Hassan. So what did the strange noise sound like? I'm going to write it down. It sounded more like a wounded werewolf. That's it, okay? Or literally as I've written down, a wounded werewolf. That's what it sounded like. So there we go. That's the answer, a wounded werewolf. Question 7. Inference. What does the first paragraph tell you about Ola? Tick 1. Now we know that inference means we need to think about it. It's not something that we can just retrieve from the text. We need to actually think about the answer. So what's the first paragraph tell you about Ola? Is it that she hated running, she sneaked away from home, she was bored waiting for her friends, or she was lively and active? So what does that tell me? So let's try and eliminate the ones it's not, so that makes it easier for us. So what's the first paragraph tell us about Ola? I might even just read the first paragraph again, just to really get it in my head. Calling a cheerful goodbye to her family, Ola sprinted off down the path leading from her house towards the park. She leapt over the railings, ducked down at the shortcut, and found herself on the edge of the playing field in less than 2 minutes. Secretly pleased to be the first one there, Ola relaxed against the nearest tree and waited for her friends to arrive. So that's the first paragraph. What does that tell me about Ola? Does it tell me she hated running? I didn't read anything about that. No. She sneaked away from home. Did it say anything about that? She sprinted off down the path leading from her house. Well, if she sneaked off, she wouldn't be sprinting, so I'm going to say no, not that one. She was bored waiting for her friends. Don't remember anything about that. No, nothing about her being bored in that paragraph. Just checked it again, is not that. So the only one it can be is she was lively and active. And is there any evidence to suggest that? Ola sprinted off down the path again. Yep, she sprinted off down the path. She is lively and active. And I'd like to say she's lively as well because she called a cheerful goodbye. So, yep, that's got to be the answer. It's she was lively and active, number 7. That's the one I would tick. Right, question 8. Look at the third paragraph. What is meant by the sentence, she was not disappointed? Look at the third paragraph. What was meant by the sentence, she was not disappointed? So let's find the third paragraph. Right at the start, she was not disappointed. So I might have to just reread the bit before that so I understand what that was talking about. I'm going to read the full sentence. Ola, however, knew every twist and turn of that trail at the back of her hand. Besides, she's been itching to find this new hiding place for ages. So, okay, it's about her finding the hiding place. She was not disappointed. So what does that line mean? Well, it's got to mean something about her thoughts on the hiding place. So she was not disappointed. It's in relation to the hiding place. So how do I word that into a sentence? I'm going to read you what I've got. So I've put, Ola was pleased that nobody found her straight away because her hiding place worked well. So she was not disappointed. She wasn't disappointed. She was actually pleased because obviously nobody's finding her in this hiding place. Okay, that's the answer. Question 9. So we've got some speech bubbles here. What might Amelia have been thinking in the last paragraph? Tick 1 thought. What might Amelia have been thinking in the last paragraph? So not what was she thinking, what might Amelia have been thinking in the last paragraph? Remember to read the question carefully. So tick 1 thought. Let's have a read of all 4 and we'll figure out which one it is. So, I don't want Ola's help, she's different. Thank goodness Ola is here to help me. Completely different points there. I need to find a really good hiding place, or my arm hurts. Right, so let's eliminate the ones it's not. I don't remember reading anything about my arm hurts, so no, I don't remember that. Again, we've already learnt she's quite lively and active, so yeah, I don't remember anything to do with that. I don't want Ola's help, she's different. Well, possibly, because we know that Amelia doesn't really like Ola, so maybe. Thank goodness Ola is here to help me. Well, it is in the final paragraph, and she was sort of injured, so it could be that. I need to find a really good hiding place. Well, at the end of the paragraph, remember, she is obviously the one who's injured at the end. So what's the most likely? We know that she's obviously changed her mind on Ola because she didn't like her at the start. But obviously towards the end we know that she sort of became more accepting because she said chess at the end, didn't she? So the only one it can be is thank goodness Ola is here to help me, because she is obviously injured. It's got to be that one. Okay, question 10. Summarise. Using the whole text, tick 1 box in each row to show whether each statement is true or false. So we've got 3 statements and a true or false. We've done a few questions like this now in the previous comprehension, so let's have a go with this one. Ola and her friends were playing at the park. So is this true or false? Once again, I'm going to find evidence to support if it is true, and if I can't find it, then it's got to be false. So are Ola and her friends playing at the park? I mean, I pretty much know this, but I'm just going to find it anyway. I'm going to find the evidence that they're playing at the park. Well, we already know from the very first line, leading from the path towards her house, the park. Yeah, so she's literally going to the park. It is definitely true, isn't it? Right at the beginning of the text, so we know that one's true. There's evidence right at the start of the text. Ola and her friends were playing at the park. That one is true. Second one, Ola's main hiding place was in the trees. Ola's main hiding place was in the trees. So again, hiding place, I'm going to find that bit again in the text. Scroll back through. Hiding place. Itching to find this new hiding place for ages. Again, where was it? Well, we know that she was in a gap in the hedge, wasn't she? So yes, she is on a branch, okay, but it is actually inside the hollow gap in the hedge, isn't it? So it's not actually in the trees, okay, it's actually in the hedge, which means that that one is false. It is false, okay? Just because she stood on a branch does not mean it's a tree, okay? We need to actually read the text carefully. So that one is false. She's in a hedge. And the third one, Amelia pretended to be a werewolf to scare Ola. Well, we already read about the werewolf line, so we should hopefully remember that one, but I'm going to find it again. Werewolf. There it is. Squeal, what was that? It sounded more like a wounded werewolf than Hassan. So the wounded werewolf is what the squeal sounded like. So who was making the squeal? We know it wasn't Amelia making the squeal because she's obviously the one injured at the end. That one has got to be false. Amelia did not pretend to be a werewolf to scare Ola. That was just what the squeal sounded like. Okay? She wasn't pretending. She was actually injured at the end, wasn't she? So, no, that one is false. So it should be true, false, false. Okay, number 11, predict. Do you think that Ola would have left her hiding place if she had already known she would find Amelia lying on the ground? Circle 1, so we've got yes or no. Explain why you think this. So do you think Ola would have left her hiding place if she had already known she would find Amelia lying on the ground? Circle 1. Now, funnily enough, this one can actually be either. It can be yes or it can be no. It all depends on how you have answered the question. Okay? Basically, your answer needs to have a good explanation to support it. So you will not get the mark if you've only circled yes or no and written nothing in the explanation. If you've not written anything, then you don't get the mark. You must explain. Okay? So I've got two answers written down here because it could be yes or it could be no. It just depends on how you have answered it. So if I chose yes, here is my answer. Okay? I've said yes because Ola was kind and she didn't say her thoughts about Amelia out loud. She thought the best of people. So if my answer was yes, that's how it could have been. Okay, something to do with her being kind and about her not saying her thoughts out loud about Amelia, even though Amelia wasn't very nice to her, and she always thought the best of people. So that's how it could have been if it was a yes. If it was a no, if you chose no, here's what I put. No, because Amelia was unkind to Ola, and it would mean that Amelia would know where her special hiding place was. So again, we could have gone down the route of, well, we know that Amelia is not very nice to Ola, and we know that Ola doesn't want to share her hiding place, and certainly not with someone who's nasty to her. So you could have put no and had it backing up the answer that way. But as long as your explanation is specific and actually backs up your point, then it should get you the mark. This is one of those ones where you might need to just double check. So pop me a message if you want me to double check your question 11, and I'll let you know if I would have given you the mark for that one. So yeah, just leave a comment with your photo. That would be great, and I can help you out with that one. So the last question, compare. How does Amelia change throughout the story? So we've had quite a few of these ones now about how a character changes throughout the story. So hopefully we remember Amelia's the one who's not very nice to Ola at the beginning because she spat at her. That line about you're in England, speak English. But then obviously towards the end she becomes a lot nicer. So here's my answer. I've said at the start of the story, Amelia is unkind towards Ola by telling her off for greeting her friends in her home language. Amelia then becomes sad when she hurts herself and is grateful towards Ola at the end when she humbly whispers Ches to her. Okay? So that is my full answer for that one. So again, I will share my answers at the end of the day for you. So I do hope you've enjoyed that. Tomorrow we'll be doing set B of these questions about hide and seek. So look out for that one. So take care, and I will see you tomorrow.